Hey guys, Eric Dubois with EDPbeats.com, and today I'm going to show you guys how to set up properly your inputs and your outputs. So for example, if you have your sound card but also you have a USB mic, then you're always going to have to go to the preferences and switch audio drivers and switch this and switch that. It takes a lot of time, and I'm all about speed, I'm all about convenience, so I'm going to show you guys a little workaround to make everything work perfectly fine. First off, I totally missed my deadline last Friday for my video. I'm so sorry. So this video is coming out later, not on the regular schedule. I'm so sorry about that. So to apologize, I'm giving you guys 50% off on anything on my website. So that's edp-beats.com. You can get sound packs, you can get all the music and a bunch of cool extra stuff as well. Everything 50% off if you use the discount code called SORRY, SORRRY. And yeah, apologize for that. So let's just jump in right now. So let me show you guys the equipment that I run through and that I work on so that you can kind of see what the problem is. So first of all, I use this USB microphone. So that's already one audio input. So every time I want to use the microphone, I have to go into my preferences and change the audio input. Then I have my sound card, the M-Audio M-Track, which is a great sound card, by the way, that also creates some prompts. So whenever I want to use it, if I have a guitar, if I have another mic or another type of instrument plugged in there, I have to go to the preferences, change the audio input, and just modify everything again. So that takes a lot of time and it's a hassle. What I want to show you guys, this works on a Mac. So it's very specific to Mac, but it's even easier on a PC. You use the driver called ASIO for All, I think, ASIO for All. You can group all your different audio inputs that you have, if they're separate, you know, and make it into one big audio driver that has all nice, a bunch of channel inputs, which is good. But on a Mac, you gotta go into, it's a little bit more complicated, and I finally got into it not too long ago, so I'm gonna show you guys how this works. And let me show you guys the problem that I run into. So if I open up the preferences, as you can see, there's in the audio input device, you can use all the audio inputs that I have. So I have my built-in microphone, which is just the Mac, the ATR USB microphone, which is that mic that I showed you, and my 2-track. They're not all together, you know, that's the problem. I always have to switch in between all of them in order to get the sound in, and I don't want to do that anymore. So the easy way to do it is to go here. So let's go back to the desktop. And there's a little program called Audio Midi Setup. So you can find that in the Applications Utility folder of your Mac. And this is what we're going to use to have it set up. So this is what I did. I created a group and I grouped all of my cards. So I grouped in the built-in microphone, the USB mic, the M-Track, the 2 channels of the M-Track actually, and Soundflower that I use for my system audio. So let me just delete that so that we can recreate it again. So here is all of the audio devices that I have on my track. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit this little plus sign here, create aggregate device. There it is. Now I'm gonna rename it straight away to Studio Inputs, because I only use these inputs. I only use that sound card and this mic when I'm in the studio, and this is for the moment. It's like a temporary studio, but whenever I come in here, I plug all of it inside, and then I want to run everything straight. So that's why I call it Studio Inputs. I don't do it on the road. And so here we go. So this is for the studio inputs. So we're going to select all of the inputs and outputs that we want. So I want, and hopefully the best thing to do is to select them in order, because that's how it's going to appear in the channel order in Ableton. So what works for me is my main output channel. I like it to be the M-Track. So I'm going to click on the outputs for my M-Track as the first 2 outputs. Now my inputs, the first input that I like is my microphone, so I'm going to select the inputs of my microphone, and you can see here that it appears here, inputs of my microphone. Channel 1 input is the left and right channel, same thing here for my M-Track. Now the second input that I like And actually the second output that I like is the built-in output. So I'm going to click on that right away. So I have the 3/4 is my built-in output. Then I like, in my entries, I like my M track. So I'm going to click on my M track input, 3/4, right? And then I'm going to click also on the sound flower that I like for my outputs. So I'm going to have 6 inputs, 6 outputs. Okay? 6 inputs, 6 outputs. Now what I do here is just rename them to make everything clear. So my 2 first channels in my inputs is for my USB mic. So I'm going to call it just USB mic. Sometimes you have to kind of click around. But yeah. USB mic. The second one here is for my audio, for my sound card. So I like channel 1 usually is guitar, and the channel 2 I use it for other stuff. If I'm going to be resampling something, or if someone brings in a bass or whatever, I use the channel 2 for that. So channel 1 I'm going to call it guitar, and channel 2 I'm going to call it other. Okay, and the sound flower is just the sound flower. So that's just going to record my audio, the system's audio is coming out directly from the Mac. So if I'm watching a YouTube video, I can record that directly on there. So that's pretty cool for resampling some stuff. I'll show you guys that in another video. All right, now let's go to the outputs. So the outputs, I have the M track output. So I want to write that M track, because that's my sound card. I want to make sure to have this. All right, so on the outputs, it's pretty important for me to my M track right and M track left. Now 3 is the built-in output, so I'm going to call it built-in, built-in left, built-in right. All right, cool. So now I have everything set up here in the audio device as a group called Studio Inputs. Now there's also, you can be tweaking other things. Now this clock source is going to make sure that all of your audio devices are in sync. Sometimes it might have a little difference if you want to record several things at a time. So what I want the clock source to be is actually the built-in output, and all the rest, this drift correction is going to correct any latencies that might be between each device. So if you're doing multiple recording, for example, if you want to record your USB mic and you want to record your guitar at the same time, that's going to do an autocorrect of any latencies that they can see. So it's, make sure to click that. If it doesn't work for your PC, or if it's too weird, just unclick it. And this is something really personal. It depends on your computer, it depends on what you're running in the background, depends on the VSTs that you have, you know, computers. So yeah, so once we have this all set up, we're going to open up Ableton. Let's go straight to, and there it is, Studio Inputs. Perfect. So select that, built-in outputs. I also want the Studio Inputs, which actually we set up the outputs at the same time. Now in Ableton, the cool thing you can do is you can rename each channel. So let's go back to the preferences. So we go into input configuration, and this is what I already have set up here. So let me make sure that everything is the same as what I did before. So I have channel 1 and 2 stereo, which is the as the input is the USB mic. Perfect. Okay. So input 1 and 2 is the mic. I don't need the left and the right because it's a mic. So I totally turned that off, and I'm just using the stereo version of the output of the microphone, which is normal. Now, channel 3 and 4 is my M track, is my sound card, which has 2 entries, 2 channels. Same thing, a guitar, when you record a guitar, you're not recording it in stereo, it's all in mono. So might as well use channel, I'm not even going to use, I probably never use the stereo channel input for the M track. Turn off my stereo and hide my entry. So channel 3 is guitar, channel 4 is other. Make sure that it's correct. Channel 3 right here is guitar, channel 4 is other. Awesome. Now, same thing, the 5 and 6 stereo is Soundflower. As I said, Soundflower is for my system's audio. If I don't resample anything from YouTube, I use this, so I'm going to use it always in stereo. I'm not going to use the left or the right. So click the stereo, unclick the others. Hit OK, make sure you renamed everything correctly. And same thing with the outputs. So the outputs, it's super simple. I just use 2 outputs, the output from my computer, the built-in, and also the output from my sound card. Once I'm going to buy my speakers, the speakers and the monitors are going to be using the output from the sound card, and my computer is going to be having the click, maybe. You know, I don't want them to come out of the stereo. So in Ableton, that's one of the great things in Ableton is that you have a Q out and you have a master out. So the master out is the general sound that's going to be coming out, and the Q out is going to be all of your, if you're browsing through samples, for examples, it's going to come throughout that audio system. If you're using a metronome, it's going to come throughout that audio system as well. So like that, for example, if you're in a live set, you can have the drummer use his headphones coming out of the computer with the metronome, so he's always on beat, and then you can have your main sound coming out of your audio system directly through the speakers for the people, and they won't ever hear the metronome going on. So that's something super important, and that's a little tip that's pretty cool. So alright, so channel 1 and 2 is the built-in. Let's make sure we're all right. Channel 1 and 2, exactly, this is where I need to change it. So 1 and 2 is my M track, as you can see, and 3 and 4 is my built-in. So I'm going to change that right away. 1 and 2 is the M track, and 3 and 4 is my built-in. Okay? Hit OK. Alright. And now we're all set. So for example, if here's my recording channel right here. If I want to record external in, I want to record, let's say, the microphone, the Soundflower, the guitar, or other, everything's written down and it's super quick. So I go guitar, boom, grab the guitar, record it real quick, blah, blah, blah. If I want to resample something, I use the Soundflower. If I want to talk, I use the mic, you know, so everything is super easy and super fluid. And I just don't waste any time trying to find like channel 1, which one is it? Oh, I need to use the mic, so I need to go back to preferences, change it to USB mic, and it just saves time. Everyone should set this up like they should. Now let's check out the output. So as I said, the Q output, you can have it coming out from the M track or the built-in as we set up. So the Q, I want it through the built-in, and the master out, I want it through the M track. And there you go, you're all set. And this, by the way, is your little Q in knob. So you can control the volume that's going into your headphones from there. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Take care of your studio inputs, take care of your audio inputs and outputs correctly, and make sure to set them up right here. Also, I'm finishing up my first EP with a bunch of collaborations with artists that I've worked with. And I'm still looking for artists. So I'm still looking for rappers, singers. So if you guys want to join in, it's split royalties on all the streaming services. It's going to be a big promotion on everything. So hopefully it's going to boost up. And yeah, shoot me a link in the comments below with what you do, or just hit me up with an email. The EP is going to be a future bass, chill trap kind of vibe. So I'll shoot you guys some demos so you can listen to the tracks. And yeah, if it's something you're interested in, just let me know. So hope you guys enjoyed, set up everything correctly, and I'll see you guys next week, and I promise I won't miss the deadline. Remember to apologize, 50% off my whole store, edpbeats.com. Just type in the discount code SORRY, and that's going to be valid for 1 week until next Friday. So enjoy it, check it out, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.